Welcome back to the InherAlchemist TV. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look into Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. So as we know, I think it was over the summer, he filed for divorce. I think he filed for her in June because I remember I covered the story on another channel that I used to have. And he was starting to go on like these press tours about this book he was selling. And then all of a sudden these divorce stories started to come out. And I was a bit skeptical, like, okay, are they trying to sell stories? Like, what's going on? But it looks like, it's legit. I'm not saying it wasn't legit. I'm just saying the timing was very, I don't know, interesting, right? So we're going to take a look into the marriage, see if we can figure out what's happening next or what led to the breakdown of this marriage, which is really what I like to approach it from. I don't really like to use a tarot in a predictive way because you can easily change the outcome of something. You can introduce a change agent simply by changing the way that you drive to work. You know what I mean? So nothing is ever set in stone. But we're going to look at it nonetheless. Please like the video. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel and having your notification bells on. So first thing I want to say is that there was some cheating going on, I believe. And I think that it was honestly on the part of Jeannie Mai. If she wasn't physically having sex with men, she definitely had contact with men. If she's been married in the past, it looks like she had contact with her ex-husband. And there's at least one other man. All of these men are prosperous. All of these men are offering something to her different from one another. She definitely likes a variety. I'll say it that way. Now, they are coming in the spread as a two of cups. So they definitely had a partnership or felt like they were kindred spirits or felt like they were soulmates. Jeannie Mai was more of the logical one in the group. She didn't have a lot of emotional energy. She was just more so fair, more so cutthroat, more so straight to the point. But she does have a tinge of bitterness about her or objectivity when it comes to dealing with men. Her thing is, I need somebody to work. You know what I mean? So in her relationships, what she does is she tries to enforce or encourage the men around her to work hard. You know what I mean? And this is all she knows of men. I don't think she looks at them in terms of being people with feelings or a journey or anything like that. She's just like, put your head down and work. That's what I respect. And so I show that she's not like a person that's going to be what you call like emotionally supportive or even wife-like. She's like more of a partner, I show that Jeezy was very reserved in a relationship. He held back a lot. He held back a lot of money, for one. But I also see that he didn't have much. Now, I show that he attempted to become the King of Pentacles, which was to stabilize himself and ground himself and really kind of stabilize his emotions a little bit. But he did that by like retracting his energy, which made it harder for him to receive things, on a universal aspect. Like some people think like when you're broke, you should hold, but it's actually you should give when you feel like you have the least, right? For him, he's coming in as very selfish and very disconnected from the love relationship altogether. This whole vision of a soulmate and a partnership, it was good for business, but it was bad for the emotion. And that worked for Jeannie, but I don't think it worked for Jeezy. I think he needed a little bit more support in developing himself into kind of like a stable, grounded force or even a husband. I don't show that he came in as a husband. I show that he needed to kind of develop into that. He was lacking. He was lacking on the stability front, just all across the board. He was even lacking as it pertains to work. I know that we all know Jeezy to be like a successful person, but going into the marriage, he didn't have much work. You know what I mean? And so he was kind of like holding on to his finances, but also working towards like the come up, if you will. Now, he had to work very hard on trying to be a quote unquote husband and a family man. That's something that he wasn't necessarily born into or knew how to do. But he did have like the charisma, he did have the attitude, he did have the gusto. He was willing to try, but he was not developed in that type of way. You know what I mean? Now, they have the Wheel of Fortune. So we know that Jeezy wrote a book, but his Wheel of Fortune went into the King of Swords. So that is about finding your blessing and being articulate, or finding your blessing and using your voice. But he has a twofold motivation, because what he's doing is like I have the King of Swords and the Seven of Wands. What he's doing is preemptively using his voice and setting up a defense for himself. So it's almost like he knew something was coming down the pipe, and he's not being completely forthright and forthcoming with his version of the events. I show that he's trying to like manipulate the situation in some type of way to maybe get people on his side, because there's a defense. And I'm looking at the Magician as well. The Magician is about plotting in a way, you know what I mean? I have it clarified by the Seven of Swords. And so this is like a sneaky manipulation of words or mental energy or the narrative. This is like a narrative. And this was something that was designed by him to defend himself against something that he's done. Very manipulative. It's almost like, you know how you paint yourself as a victim before it comes out that you're a villain? It's almost coming across like that. Now, the Queen of Cups is here. So this tells me that he was planning to tug on the heartstrings or the emotions of people. And that was going to be his strategy, to get people to see him as a human, to get people to look at him with some type of care and some type of emotional concern. Now, ironically, that's the one thing that was lacking out of his relationship. You know what I mean? So besides the media, it just looks like in his general life, he's always been setting himself up as a victim. Anytime he speaks, it is in defense of something that he's done. It is in defense of, it's like a cover up, but it's like he's playing offense and not defense. And like I said, his intention was not always honorable and upfront with that. It just wasn't. Now I show that Jeannie Mai, she does have some type of regret, or she is grieving, or she is sad about this relationship. And I show that she feels bad about not being emotionally connected or present with him. She feels bad about being so distant, but it's like it could be a cultural thing. You know what I mean? She's just not that way. She feels bad about not really being like romantic. She feels bad about not being consistent as far as like showing up in like a feminine, loving type of way towards him. Her mind is just more analytical. Her mind is just more, she just deals with respect. She deals with respect. She deals with communication. She deals with boundaries. She doesn't deal with this kind of love realm. She doesn't deal with the emotion. She's not a nurturer. You know what I mean? And I show that he was like maneuvering to get some type of like emotional response, reaction, or nurturing. He could have been even creeping around with someone that he felt more emotionally connected to. But I don't really see it as that way. I see it as him trying to cry out for his emotions, and he's using his speech to put himself in that need position, like he needed something. You know what I mean? To make people not feel something for him, but feel something for him. Like he feels like nobody feels anything for him. You know what I mean? Now, Jeannie Mai, although she wants to show her love to Jeezy, or she wants to be romantic to him, she's cut off from that. She's blocked. They have a barrier between them as far as communication. She could go around this, but I don't feel like she really wants to, or she really sees how she can. Because she knows that she doesn't, it's almost like you go to start something, but you know that you don't, you can't sustain the energy, so why even try? So I show for now, she's just in her head about it. She's thought about making a romantic gesture. She's thought about expressing her love. But then she also thinks like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, this is not really how I feel. Like, I would have to pretend, or I would have to become someone else. And she's really sad that she's not that girl. She wishes that she was that person for him, but she also is cognizant of the fact that she's not. You know what I mean? So she's in her head and she's kind of rationalizing if she should learn to become that person, or pretend to become that person, or just let it, just don't cry over spilled milk, so to speak. Right now she's frozen. She's not saying anything. She's trying to be really intelligent about the situation. And she's trying to make sure that she doesn't lose too much. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to lose money. She wants to protect her money. I got the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. She wants to protect her. This Ace of Cups is not really, it's not really giving me like love or emotion. It's more so giving me like child. It's more so giving me the love of her child. Like, she doesn't want the stability of her child and the love of her child to be disrupted. Her child, this is giving me like a foundation type of situation. But right now she feels like they're all being left in the cold, and she's kind of like hoping, she's like trying to kind of like manifest that her child doesn't lose love or stability. I don't know if Jeannie herself grew up without a father, or she grew up with like a sick parent or two sick parents, or she was left or abandoned in some type of way. And there's a part of her that's willing to keep working at this in order to keep that from happening. But she can't help who she is. She can't attach to him. There's something in her that would not allow her to attach to him. But she could be very guarded because of her own abandonment issues. You know what I mean? Now, I'm showing that there's a decision to make about this relationship. The marriage is still in the cards for them. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it looks like they're trying to figure out how to walk away, and they're each trying to walk away as a winner. But it's becoming like a knockdown, drag out battle, because there's like mind games and manipulation going on here. Jeannie Mai, they're doing some type of like, I don't want to say like rituals, but whatever her culture is, they're doing things to like make him stuck. They're doing things to like make him stay, but it's not, you, first of all, you shouldn't manipulate the will of any others. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in love spells, but the love spells or the love alchemy that I work with is more so to help generate the love of self, the care of self that attracts the love that you want. But this is more like a manipulation of the will of another person. You know what I mean? And I show like a manipulation of his will to keep him from leaving. But I also show that he's like rebelling against this. But he's also like coming across as like a backstabber. Like, I don't know. He kind of like, I don't know if he's gossiping about her, or I don't know. He's like doing something negative to her or whatever. And it's with other people. Now, this is not something that's sexual or like highly charged. This is like words. You know what I mean? He could be telling her business, but there's like a win at all costs attitude on both their sides. So on one end, it's like egotistical, like, okay, we just want to, we want the victory. We want to be able to keep going and moving forward. But on the other end, it's like, but I don't want the other person to do good without me. You know what I mean? So it's like both want to win, but both don't want the other to win without them. You know what I mean? Now, I'm showing that there's some juggling with the stability of the relationship. On the one hand, they want to stay involved in like the family situation and like do like a co-parenting thing. But on the other hand, they kind of want to just fall back from each other and do it independently. The only thing is that Jeannie Mai feels like she can be a single mother. She is going to be a single mother. The nine Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. This is like a single woman that's like taking care of her own home. She may be surrounded by family and friends, but this is something that she enjoys. She's going to enjoy being a single mother. But Jeezy, I show that he's going to be off grid very soon. Like, he's going to be falling back. You know, he's going into like I don't know. He's going into like I'm looking at the Hangman and the Four of Swords. It's almost like respite or retirement or just falling back, or I don't know. I see him as like not being a good father. I do. I see him as not being present emotionally at all. Now there is a younger guy here. It looks like there's going to be like a male nanny or a male, could be a little brother, but I see this as somebody that's there to take care of or help take care of the child. They're going to be spending a lot of time with the child. There's a younger man that's going to be spending a lot of time with the child. I show that Jeezy is going to see this as a betrayal. He's not going to be happy with this. He's going to be feeling like he's out of control, like he doesn't have anything to say. He's going to feel like this is a betrayal, but it really doesn't have anything to do with him. It could be a family member of hers, but it looks like a male nanny that's coming in to like help watch the children, or a male nanny that's going to come in and like play a part in the situation in some type of way. Co-parenting or parenting, there's going to be a struggle over the child, and it's going to be like a really oppressive battle between them. You know what I mean? It's going to be something where he ends up walking away from the child, or moving away from the child, or moving. They're going to be in two different cities. They're going to be separated by distance, and it's going to be heartbreaking, but I don't see him as being like an effective or present father to the child. They're going to they're definitely separated emotionally, but they're going to be separated by distance, or either he's going to fight for the right to like co-parent to where the child is with him in another state 6 months, or with her in another state 6 months, or she's going to fight for this or something like that. There's some type of battle, and it's going to be draining to the point where one person just ends up walking away from it altogether and just like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Now, the outcome, whatever it is, will be fair. You know, sometimes men love their children, but sometimes they just fight for them to spite the mother. You know what I mean? But I'm showing that there's some toxic shit, some toxic strategies that are coming out in court. There's some lies. There's some deceptions. There's some fucked up behavior that's going to be happening in court. But the truth is going to prevail. And justice is going to be on the side of the person that's, you know, honest about the shit. But to my point, I was just trying to say that some men will fight for their children just to spite the mother, knowing that they can't full-time be present for their children. But Jeannie Mai could also, I don't know if she has a nanny here, she has a male nanny here. That may be an issue that comes up in court as well, because she can't be present for her kid either if she's working all the time. You know what I mean? There is an older person though, that's kind of like advising them on the situation or looking over the situation, but that person is also the cause of arguments. That person is often like telling Jeannie Mai what to say or how to fight or how to defend herself, which could be a problem. This is a mother figure. I'm looking at the Empress and the Hermit. These are either older parents, grandparents, or a mother figure. But this mother figure is teaching her how to fight and how to speak up for things. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, so that's what I got for Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. I think I want to look into Monica and C Murder. I know that they were dating a while, like pen pals or something like that, but I wanted to look into that relationship and see what's going on with them. So I think I'm going to do them next. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the next one.